We bring the truth out of the prison cells again. We have to say it with love, but we know it's God, the highest part of us. Nothing, nobody there. No direction you could represent the highest. Those feet represent the lowest. My ignorance know the highest. Those supposed to mind the heart. Those to enter the highest order. Transform, liberated, and the highest to the highest enter the lowest order. And reveal for the manifestation of the path. The sense of the identification is absolutely necessary. The highest has to be needless to say, for the highest always is below. The lowest to find it is really difficult to beat the high. Because it's fear, you got to do this is so but the kind of commitment to necessary on the path. It's the kind of commitment that you have to live in this literature. Organizations is what you have to do. But when I ask you, if it could be said to be something you believe in learning on like this side, even if you want to follow the path of the path, you don't want to answer the path. Sincere with the right thing. You're not sincere with the right thing. The meditation aspect is sincere and right. Nothing else but also satisfaction from the my heart. I'd rather remain unfazed. Felt with the spiritual hunger, we can be with it. Master, you want to feed the few, the sincere, with the hunger and the secret. Living this year, the spiritual master, tell them the meal is ready. Keep together, but the path of acceptance is better to have to own the perfection. No the perfection unless we own it. The consciousness, how we gonna perfect it? Maybe someone has that pain for happiness, besides in your message. Maybe only the pain for the also broken, similar to the others and covered for the purgative place. Maybe I can find a concern, or I can transform it. Or as long as their consciousness is fully realized, I can remain on it. Maybe the remain of the kind of matter for manner of the consciousness is maybe only the other self. In the outer being of the outer, also we need that maybe what the spiritual life is like, but I would say, don't act like a fool for the experiences you have are real. Maybe the encouragements and inspiration that you can have for the proper explanation of your experiences. Something that you can do wrong with is either meditation to correction, or maybe the position to correct yourself for the university you can study at home. This is not the perfect feeling for that you instruct yourself for the instruction. The subject is well, for you have been very man, full of knowledge and not to get anywhere for the size of university and exceptions to the admits to the exceptions. Maybe this isn't God and everybody, and seeking the feeling that you do not mean to be help. Unwelcome to the capacity alone. Someone is wise and wants you toward that goal. Goal for the instead of stumbling, merely walking a certain tangent, but maybe that guru is inconsiderable. Maybe I'm for the page and packing for I can find yourself in the existence, and this is maybe the reaching of yourself for the consciousness and deeper within. Somehow, I got to show you for the own divinity which is God. What is the role? What is the light? What is the quest for happiness? Your spiritual life is just enormity. Maybe the God truth of the beauty in you can be a sight to become, a sight to transcendence of yourself and inner high, including in you and all. Nominated for the significance of you and the running of the spiritual path and the spiritual meditation, the root, the concentration, the silence of the mind, which is the student for the selection as you have been grown. You heard.
We bring the truth out of the prison cells. Again, we have to say it with love for whom we know. Who do you know is God for the highest illuminated part of us? Nothing and nobody there if you had you in the 2 feet in a direction which could represent the highest in me. Those feet represent the lowest. My ignorance, I know the highest. The lowest of both the mind with the heart. The lowest to enter to the highest order. To be transformed, liberated, and fulfilled. Highest to the highest to enter with the lowest to order. And revealed for the manifestation of the path. The sense of the identification is absolutely necessary. For the highest has to feel the only oneness with the low. The lowest has to feel its total with one. Needless to say, for the highest are always to feel in the oneness with the low. The lowest to find it extremely difficult to be the high. Because its fear for the doubt was jealousy so full. What kind of commitment to then it comes happiness. Be sincere and
Would you know it's God for the highest and the part of us? Nothing, nobody there. The direction we represent the highest and those feet represent those my ignorance know the highest. Those both of mine with the heart. Those the entry to the highest goal. We transform the red energy field. Highest and highest integral. And reveal the manifestation of the past. The sense of the identification is absolutely necessary. The highest has to be needless to say that the highest always the lowest defined extremely difficult to be the high because it's fear without what the kind of commitment is necessary. It's the kind of commitment that you have to make to organizations and what you have to do. But when I ask you to say you're finding the light inside. Remember that I satisfaction is only going to win. Similarities in the spiritual life and the real spiritual master, feeling that the bound is the duty to eat in front of humanity and share the spiritual food with humanity is now the whole. Does not eat for the should. Many are sleeping and not felt with the spiritual hunger we could do with it. The master, you are the few, the sincerity for the hunger of the seeker. Maybe the seer for the spiritual master to tell them the meal is ready. Eat together for the path of acceptance is ready to have to own for the earth. There's no way to perfection unless we own. Eat the consciousness, how are we going to perfect it? Maybe someone has that pain for the having the passage or the message. Maybe only the pain for the also go for the similar to the earth is imperfect for the purgative place. Maybe that I can find a concern, or I can transform it. Where as long as the earth consciousness is fully realized that I can remain on it. Maybe the remaining of the kind for the manner of inner consciousness is maybe only to the other subtle. Your precious relationship, your spiritual evolution, your outer knowledge to illumine the outer being for the out. And also we need that for the guiding of the inner life, especially for the beginning. Otherwise the very progression will be slow and uncertain. You can become confused, elevating yourself to inadequate insignificance, and maybe you can have an eclipse of the mind, but we will say I'm just an ordinary person. You can have that experience if you like to. I'm deluding myself when I tell you maybe what the spiritual life is like, but I will say don't act like a fool for the experiences you have are real. Maybe the encourages and inspiration that you can have for the proper explanation of your experiences. Something that you can do wrong with is either meditation to correction, or maybe the position to correct yourself for the university you can study at home. This is not the perfect feeling for the you instruct yourself for the instruction. The subject is well, for you have been very man full of knowledge and not to get anywhere for the size of the university and exceptions to the admits to the exceptions. Maybe this isn't guiding everybody and seeking the feeling that you do not mean to be help. Unwelcome to the capacity alone. Someone is wise and wants to toward that goal for the instead of stumbling, merely walking a certainty, but maybe that group is inconsiderable. Maybe I'm for the page and pack before I can find yourself in the existence, and this is the reaching of yourself for the consciousness and deeper within. Somehow I got to show you for the own divinity of which is God. What is the road? What is the light? What is the quest for happiness? Your spiritual life is just enormity. Maybe the God truth of the beauty in you can be a sight to become, sight the transcendence of yourself and inner high, including a you and all. Nominated for the significance of you and the running your spiritual path and the spiritual meditation, the root, the concentration, the silence of the mind, which is the student for the selection as you have been grown. You are
our path. The heart, not the path of the mind, does not mean that we are criticizing the path of the mind. Far from it, we must feel the path of the heart leads us fast towards our goal. Appealing to the seeker does not mean we're criticizing the what's towards the supposing of what's 5,000 miles away or can reach the destination either by walking or flying. Undoubtedly, I should reach the destination considerably faster than flying a jet plane, but the similarity of using the aspiring heart for the doubting of the mind, we should reach the goal that's much faster, and heart is all of love. The mind is quite often the confusion. When we say the heart, we mean the spiritual heart, which is flooded of divine love. The heart is strikingly significant because the inside living presence of the soul. The consciousness of the soul pre-mates for the entire body. The actual location of the soul is inside of the heart. The soul asks everything, the peace, the light, the bliss, and the infinite measures, but we get the divine qualities inside the heart. We can bring him to the mind for the vital, for the physical prosper. For God is extremely simple. We who think of him as someone complicated, for who speaks to the simple language, we do not understand, but we have deaf, and we have deaf for the millennia. For the poor God, he has been talking constantly, tirelessly. We do not have to listen to him. We do not have time to listen to him. Our past is the simplicity. A child is simple enough for the loving of the mother, for he does not have to love anybody else. Mothers for the whole world, for he devotes himself for the mother. When the mother asks him to do something, he listens to the mother. Maybe the child is simple enough to try something, to do everything to please, but right thing is to reaching the highest goal, the ordinary life. Someone who loves that individual, who spends most of the time for the particular reason to find the devotion, for defying the precious time, and maybe the end of that person surrendering. Because the two of them is formed the inner and outer bond of the strength of the love. So if one loves another person, then one is ready to even sacrifice one's precious wisdom. The preciousness of the spiritual life is totally different from the divine love and never binds us. On the contrary, it expands us and liberates. When we see and feel that we are being liberated, we feel inward with a divine obligation to do something for the inner. We can remain aloof from what has given us everything, but we have brought us the message of divine love and compassion. If it be possible for not to offer something in return, we remain in the outer life. We only try to grab and possess everything for even what belongs to others. But if we live in the soul, we try constantly to give all what we have and what we are to the inner. Divine love means self-giving. But just giving something, just offering something is enough, and it has to be done with enthusiasm and intense, urgent, and inner urge. And we give the inner pot for the cells and the pilot for why we are giving to someone, to have the feeling for the gift of the divine for the other, supreme within. We offer the divine to someone of love. We must do it gladly and soulfully, intentions. Given we must not feel that we are doing another person a great favor because we are positioned to help them. We are superior. We have the God that has the great opportunity to service yourself, and to find the gratefulness of the person who has to put in a position to help you. For the serving of him is supreme. Maybe have to feel grateful enough to become the chosen instrument for which you could be have as others, and having to show constant gratitude for the fact. Then you need surrendering. The slave to a master ordinarily find fault with the slave, feeling himself is always perfect for the case of supreme. Imperfections and nothingness have become chosen as an instrument for the supreme and permitted imperfection to growing upon us from the love fulfillment, where they're always going together for love to satisfy something is incomplete. And realizing that something with the realization of the revelation and manifestation of the perfection of the things that don't take, we shall have. Take many more incarnations, and but God never anybody to remain unrealized, unfulfillment. Today is the time to realize the love in the God. The day after tomorrow would be time for somebody else to realize the God. But each person, every hour which we call is God's chosen hour, and God's chosen hour, a person is bound to realize that God that we feel is easier than and more effective in the sense that we don't have to read the millions of books to know the truth is, and we don't have to exercise the mind for throughout the day for the truth looks like you don't work. Inside of us is crying to come out for the force, and unfortunately we keep the doors shut for the allowing of the truth to come out. Reach into your heart.
Drink
We bring the truth out of the prison cells. Again, we have to say it with love for whom we know. Who do you know is God for the highest eliminated part of us? Nothing and nobody there who had you in the 2 feet in a direction which could represent the highest in me. Those feet represent the lowest. My ignorance, I know the highest. The lowest of both the mind with the heart. The lowest to enter to the highest order. To be transformed, liberated, and fulfilled. Highest to the highest to enter with the lowest to order. And revealed for the manifestation of the path. The sense of the identification is absolutely necessary. For the highest has to feel the only oneness with the low. The lowest has to feel its total one. Needless to say, for the highest are always to feeling the oneness with the low. The lowest to find it extremely difficult to be the high. Because it's fear for the doubt with jealousy, so forth. What kind of commitment to necessary own path? It's the kind of commitment that you have to make in your spiritual. Cultural organizations is what you have for the regular eye. But when I asked you to make a commitment, you said a different time. Something in the need for finding the light inside. Then if you want to follow the path, then you can. There'll be no monetary demands, so you have to give me no money. Like that, you can find a matter for your own aspiration. Sincere with the regular, you can be in the spiritual life. You are not the sincere, then you want to be able to run. But if you can be sincere and dedicated, you will run very fast. The commitment that I ask is only the path is regular. The meditation and aspiration is sincere in a crowd. Nothing else for the inner student but you have the heart. It's also the path of the substance you can have in the world. And if we enter to the cave and the spit on the mountaintop of the crowd of the personal, your achievement and satisfaction is only going to anything in the world. It will be like you shall eat the food of my heart and content. Let my brother remain unfed and unstarved, and that is not good. And if I am a real human, I have to see that my brother needs to eat like me. And if we together, then we should get real satisfied. Similarities in the spiritual life with the real spiritual master, feeling that the balance to do to eat in front of humanity and share the spiritual food with humanity is now the whole. Does not eat for the should. Many are sleeping and not felt with the spiritual hunger we can do with it. The master, you are the few with the sincerity for the hunger of the seeker. Maybe the seer for the spiritual master to tell that the meal is ready. Eat together for the path of acceptance is ready to have to own for the earth. There's no way to perfection unless we own. Eat the consciousness. How are we going to perfect it? Maybe someone has that pain for the having the passage or the message. Maybe only the pain for the also go for